All right, everyone, so here's the current radar picture across the U.S., and this is the storm system up here in the Dakotas right now that I'm going to be focusing on. There is a massive storm system set to crash into the Pacific Northwest. As you can see it very well depicted with the wind barbs here, bringing heavy rain and heavy mountain snow out there. But I'm going to be focusing on this little guy, at least for now, for this video, just because it's going to bring a lot of you in the eastern U.S. your first chance at snowflakes for this winter season. So right now, not many issues. There's some snow up in the Dakotas, like I said, but as we continue to move this forward into the evening hours tomorrow, you can see how this storm system will start to evolve here. So the radar is still kind of sporadic. We've got some heavy rain on the eastern side of the system. It's still kind of getting its act together. There could be some snow squalls out here on the western side of the system, and those shouldn't cause too many issues because you can see surface temperatures 36, 35, 36, 34. Most of these are above freezing at this point, so there should be some natural melting on the roadways. Now, once we get into the morning hours on Thursday, that's when we could see potentially a little bit more significant problems on the roadways. So let me turn the radar off really quick, and you can see the center of the storm that's kind of right here at Lake Michigan at this point. And I'll switch the radar back on, and you'll notice the rain to the north and the snow to the south all the way down to northern Kentucky in some cases. And it's an interesting radar image because usually you see the opposite, right? You see the rain to the south, the snow to the north, but we're seeing a difference here. And the reason why is because this storm is really cranking at this point. It's gaining strength. It's pulling in tropical moisture from the Atlantic. So there's this stream of tropical Atlantic moisture stretching all the way up north here into Canada and wrapping back into the storm system. And as it's doing that, it's also pulling colder air south and east down from Canada, allowing some of this colder air to be pulled into the southern part of the storm. So that's why you have this interesting depiction here of rain to the north and snow to the south. And if we look at it, I'll switch the radar off again and switch the legend on here. We've got surface temperatures in parts of Wisconsin and Illinois that have dropped below freezing. So there's precipitation happening. The surface temperatures have dropped below freezing in these areas. So this is the time, Thursday morning, when we could expect some of the conditions to worsen here on the roadways in these areas and these locations. Now, if I continue this into later Thursday evening, and let me switch off the legend so it's a little bit easier to see, you'll notice that the storm system continues to sink south and east. Again, we've got the rain on the north and we've got the snow to the south. All of those locations that I just showed you in Wisconsin and Illinois that had below freezing temperatures, well now, look at this, 39 degrees, 40 degrees. 38 degrees. So they've all warmed well above freezing. So again, there could be some issues, especially during the morning hours on Thursday, but these aren't going to be prolonged issues by any means, as there will be some warming and natural melting once we get into the afternoon and evening hours on Thursday for these regions. Now, in the evening on Thursday, this is when we start to see snow in parts of Indiana, Ohio, western Pennsylvania, and even getting into New York State. And then going into the early morning hours on Friday, this continues, and we have some borderline surface temperatures in these locations depending on where you are. So in Ohio, we have some areas that are pushing close to freezing. Northwest Ohio, they're starting to drop below freezing with some icy conditions possible. Eastern Ohio, they're approaching freezing, don't quite get there, it doesn't look like. Same with central and southwestern Ohio. And then over here in Pennsylvania, we have some readings approaching freezing or falling slightly below freezing. So that's into the morning hours on Friday. And then as we go through the day on Friday at about noon, this storm system continues to pull off to the east, changing snow over to rain in a lot of locations, and then again flipping back to the surface temperatures, we have surface temperatures everywhere now that are bouncing back well above freezing for the afternoon hours on Friday. So again, this storm system is going to be a strong storm system. It's going to bring some heavy rain to parts of the eastern U.S. With that pull of tropical Atlantic moisture. Really, the biggest issues we see in parts of the Midwest over here in Wisconsin, Illinois, parts of Iowa, even western Indiana and Michigan, is going to be Wednesday morning. That's really, Thursday morning. That's really the key target for you, or key time period. And then for Ohio and western Pennsylvania, it's really going into the overnight hours on Thursday and into Friday morning. So we're not expecting a massive snowstorm by any means. We could see snowfall rates approaching in some of these squalls, some of these bands, an inch per hour. So it could drop a quick dusting of snow, even on the roadways where those surface temperatures do drop below freezing. But also, surface temperatures are going to be fairly marginal across these areas for a majority of the event.